What's going on, everybody? You're listening to the For Your Consideration podcast. My name is Tyron D. Walker.
Don't forget. I'm not going to do it. I just saw Alana.
Like it.
She does not.
I just saw Alana. Let me not disrespect for this week.
Yeah, exactly. I
This week.
appreciate you for that.
You're
Not
lucky.
ever.
I want to be noble this week. I don't know about next week.
But I'm joined alongside by my trusted friends and colleagues. We got,
Not really alongside. Only one of you is alongside.
well, you like, as
You're
we,
going to let this go.
I know, as we have said, you live in Virginia.
Oh,
So-
excuses.
Yeah,
Nobody
I mean-
even bothered to invite me.
The logistics.
The logistics of it all.
Yeah.
is
Well, you
crazy.
give us a percentage. We apologize for not, at least asking you.
okay.
But what were the percentage chances of you saying yes to have come to record?
We'll
All the
never
way in
know.
New Jersey. So like maybe 5.
Yeah, probably less than that.
I have a 2-year-old, so
Yeah, we just heard.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna keep playing that card till he's about what? How old do we have to wait for you?
12.
So you can just freely do anything you want when he's 12 years old.
We'll see how many other kids I have.
That's, yeah. You have one now? You have another one now? Okay. It's like, don't wish that upon my life.
Let me just, technically he's 1.5. Let's just get through this. The way the
Yeah.
economy is set up right now.
It's very true. Yeah, it's
Just
very
get through the
expensive out
one.
here
Yeah.
for kids. But I'm joined alongside by
This guy, Danny B,
don't forget the B.
Doesn't
Daenerys. So I'm kidding. I don't know. Sorry. That was stupid.
we can edit it out. That's fine.
Yeah, I will for sure.
Said I can't look bad from other podcasts.
That's facts. That's facts.
And we got Mika Meeks. Meeks.
Meek.
I like that.
Nickelodeon.
What?
Nickelodeon.
That's the song I was singing.
Okay, I know, but the meek works.
Works,
the
but not the
Nickelodeon?
Nickelodeon. Well,
That was-
I had to finish it.
All right. Well, anyway,
Yeah, we're here to talk about not Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, which is
it's
associated
not
with
House of the Dragon. It's House of Dragon. I'm tired of people messing it up.
House of Dragon?
No, it's definitely House of the Dragon. What are
That
you
doesn't even
talking
make
about?
sense.
Oh, is it? Oh, I've been telling people I've been yelling
You've
at
been
people.
correcting people?
I
Hold on.
sure have
now,
been
Now
correcting.
she got me questioning it, man.
No,
Now,
it's
Wait, is
definitely
it?
House of the Dragon.
You're totally right. It's totally House of the Dragon. I
Why-
thought it was
but-
House of Dragon.
but why? But can I ask you a question? Why, like, just from a grammar
Yeah, that doesn't even
standpoint, how does that work? How does leaving out the article,
Because
make
it's
sense?
Game of Thrones, so I thought House of Dragon.
It's not Game of the Thrones.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
of
It's
the
not
Thrones.
Game of the Thrones. It's Game of Thrones. So I was thinking House of Dragon.
I love how you're trying to
No.
sell this, but
That's what I heard in my head. In
not-
my head, it was House of Dragon. Now I have to go back and double back and correct myself to everybody who I corrected.
Now you have a whole bunch of people that you have to apologize
That's
to.
crazy.
That's what I'm saying. I'm doing it right now. I'm going to send text.
Because that's where they got the hot D. Like people call it hot D,
Yeah.
and that's why.
I'm sitting up
You
here.
need the T in there.
She really had me thinking hard about it. I said, damn, have I been pronouncing?
No, there's no way. It's
I was
crazy.
loud and wrong.
You-
You know
yes.
what? I take accountability and responsibility when I'm wrong. I said I
appreciate
said I'm
that.
wrong. I said I'm wrong. Let's move on.
Yeah, but I'm sure. Okay, we're moving on. I was gonna say something else, but hey, we're moving on. But before we hop into reviewing this episode, I do have a question for y'all because as I started watching this episode, I started saying to myself, man, I'm sort of lost a little bit at the beginning of it because I
It's been
forgot.
2 years?
Yeah, it's been 2 years since I've watched these characters or
Yeah.
watched the episode of House of Dragon, and I felt like, man, I gotta sort of catch up or refresh myself because I didn't even though it was a goal of mine to rewatch the first season. Life.
I
gets in
mean,
the way.
who has time for that?
Yeah, I know. I wasn't able to.
Yeah.
And so I just started with season 2, episode 1, and I did do a little recap, and so highlighting major important moments from the first season. But like watching the first episode, I was like, yeah, who's this character?
It took me
What's
a minute to even figure out it was Jace at the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm like, who is he talking to?
Explain it to me. Who's at the wall?
So it's
Jace?
Jace and Cragen Stark.
Jacaerys. Rhaenyra's son.
That didn't give me any clarification.
No,
That's what I'm saying. I had to like.
they sort of just like throw you in the deep end again, just expecting you to remember like all these characters. I guess because they didn't really have time to like sort of reintroduce them. They kind of had to like immediately start telling the story because it's only 8 episodes long.
Make it 10.
Yeah, I don't know why they. Well, I guess because of money. I guess they're spending so much money on these episodes.
On those episodes.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
did you get to watch it, Tamika?
The episode?
Well, any of season 1.
Yeah, no, we had the same intent. We were going to watch binge watch the entire first season again.
The life.
But we have a 2-year-old.
There we go.
So that didn't happen the way.
That's your tagline now.
That's literally my tagline. So yeah, we didn't get a chance to watch it. But I feel like aside from the beginning part where the two guys were talking and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is important, but I can't remember. I don't know who these people are. But aside from that, I was surprised by how much I actually did remember once it actually got into the episode.
Yeah, no, I felt the same way. Like once I started, like once the episode, sort of started picking up, I everything sort of started coming back. Yeah, exactly. So yeah. But it's also a lot to sort of keep in your head of like who's related to who, especially since there's so much incest and in the show and everyone's sort of related to each other.
But I was thinking about that with like Rhaenys and Daemon. Well, no.
Rhaenyra and Daemon?
Well, yeah. What that makes Rhaenys to Rhaenyra. Oh, yeah. Because like they're cousins, Daemon and Rhaenys.
Yeah.
So what does that make Rhaenyra?
I don't know, man. It's mad confusing. It's making me think too hard about it. Like you need, like I really need, like I think the next time we have an episode, I'm gonna have like a family tree. But like there is they do have family trees out there on the web that people like actually breaking down like how everyone is like related and what are they to this person. I just know how people are related. It's like to the main characters, like Jace is Rhaenyra's son,
Yeah.
So
is Jace, is he the one that fell off the dragon?
No. That's Lucerys.
Who died?
He died. Well, we don't know that he died. We didn't see that he died.
What are you talking about?
We saw the dragon got demolished.
Oh my god.
Okay, well, we're jumping ahead number 1.
Yeah, we are. But we're gonna start with
technically we're jumping back because that was last season.
That's true.
Yeah,
but
sure.
But you said something so outrageous that
we had to address it in the present before we go back to talk about it.
I said the same thing last season. I said we don't know that he's dead.
You did say that. You did say that.
But I wonder. Yeah, exactly. I think with this episode, it pretty much confirms that.
I didn't see a body.
Oh my gosh. Are you? This is a completely different show. I mean, I guess you're in that Ghost camp too. That you think Ghost is still alive and power, but
no.
I mean, did you even see
Ghost
that season?
No, yes, I did. Ghost is dead.
Okay.
I don't know that Rhaenyra's son is dead. I didn't see a body. I just saw that the dragon got demolished.
Who did you say?
The Rhaenyra's son. That's what I said.
What you thought he said?
I thought she said Lucerys or something like that. I thought she combined both of their names.
That sounds
together.
like it could be a name.
Lucerys?
No,
that's his name.
No, I thought she said Vu.
Lucerys.
Yeah.
Okay, you go and stop attacking me because I feel very.
All right, I'm sorry. All right, let's.
Who's got issues?
No one said that. Who said that?
Never mind. You know what? Maybe I am losing it.
Hey man, you're just coming along to what we already knew. Anyway.
All right. So this first episode, Son for a Son, titled here. We open up. Well, first the opening title actually, the title sequence changed. I don't know if you picked up on that.
Yes, it's Tapestry now.
Yeah. So,
did you pick up on that, Tamika?
No. What?
Oh, okay.
The opening theme It's totally different.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they completely changed that, and
Which I think is better, by the way.
yeah. And we open up in Winterfell with Cragen, who is the Lord of Winterfell during this period, and Jace, who is Rhaenyra's son, talking at the wall, on top of the wall, and Cragen confirms that he'll send 2,000 troops to support Rhaenyra in this war. It's just pretty much setting up Winterfell as potentially being a
Ally?
an ally, and maybe a location that we end up going back to at some point during the season. But it was just nice to see like Winterfell again, and sort of recognizing their part that they're going to play in this war that's going to come. But anyways, Danny, what did you think about the opening sequence and just seeing Winterfell again on screen?
Well, it was nice to go back to Winterfell. Jawadi, he brought back kind of the score of the Starks, which I thought was a great touch. It's always, I think that's personally the best music outside of the Targaryen theme. So hearing that was great. And I like that they did start here, even though it did take me a while to realize that was Jace.
Yeah, it did take me, because does he look older?
Understand who he is.
Rhaenyra's son. What else can we say? I don't know what else to say. How else can we say it?
We definitely did say it.
So
we definitely said it.
I really feel like I'm being attacked here because I'm not present, so I don't feel the energy.
Goodness.
All I have is the energy that's coming through
all right,
the internet. So
you
I just feel like
you do know.
Me as a black woman.
It's Juneteenth. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
It's Juneteenth. Oh, first of all, that's the first thing you should have said. It's Happy Juneteenth.
Yeah, you're right.
You're absolutely right. You know what it is? And now we're getting off topic.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry to Danny. He was gonna have to edit all this, but you know what it is? So because I work for the government. I don't even know how I should be saying that.
I work for the government.
Because I work for the state of New Jersey. We our Juneteenth is Friday. We have off on Friday. We observe it on Friday.
Why didn't they do Monday? Why didn't they do Monday? Because of Flag Day?
I mean, that does take precedence.
I think Flag Day is observed, no?
I don't know. Is it? I know it's a thing, but I don't think it's observed. It's not observed at all, as far as I know. But no. Yeah, so yes. So we did have Juneteenth. We had a bake sale at our job to raise money for our Black History Committee. We as state employees do not have off until Friday. So that is kind of in my mind, it's even though today is the actual day, the day that it's observed for me is on Friday. So sorry. I'm sorry. I'm saying that as a roundabout way to say I'm sorry for not mentioning it. So.
Yeah, well, none of us did really, because we could have.
Well, I appreciate you taking over.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so Tamika, you do know who Rhaenyra is, correct?
I think she has it now. I think you have it.
No, but it's the second time she brought it up. So
because you're saying the son, okay, which son? She has multiple sons. Was this the dude's son that she had an affair with? Or is this is clearly not the uncle's son, right? I don't remember.
Do they have a son?
Maybe not.
Do Rhaenyra and Daemon have a son? Well, if they do, it's the child. I mean, he's very young.
Yeah, he's young.
He's extremely young.
So he's the oldest son.
But it wasn't Lucerys.
Yeah, no. I think Lucerys is a middle one.
Why is he at the wall again?
Because he's trying to get troops for.
Okay. Well, yes. Okay, got it.
I don't blame you because it has. First of all, it's been 2 years.
It has been 2 years.
You do have to have that little bit of credit there.
Yeah, so we'll let you slide this episode.
I mean, we did say it anyway.
Okay.
So we sort of get that introduction. We get that scene, then we get to this. I should mention that I am jumping to the main beats of the episode. Like, I'm not going to be talking about, every scene in this episode. We're going to be talking about the main points of what happened here. So then we get the Alicent and Criston Cole sex scene, which sort of came out of nowhere. Like, I wasn't expecting it. Like my mind wasn't like, oh yeah, this is about to happen. It sort of came out of nowhere. I think for them, these are very two interesting characters that are, well, they're not in a relationship, but they have
Criston Cole is such a he's such a hypocrite.
No, and so is Alicent too, because as they try to portray themselves as being like these holy, very virtuous, honest, playing by the rules type of people in public, but behind closed doors, they are having sex with each other, and so as you said, the hypocrisy there in their relationships is interesting, and I'm curious to see how it plays out. I think I was watching an interview post show, and they were talking about like how when this is sort of Alicent's like first time, so to speak, because she was with Viserys, when she was younger, and now she's.
Which, I mean, I don't blame her.
And so like now her body is like sort of experiencing, I guess, a sexual awakening. At least that's how we sort of like described it.
I mean, is she having a midlife crisis? Or
that's assuming that she wasn't doing stuff beforehand, like just because we didn't.
You think she was messing with Criston when Viserys was still around? I mean, probably because he looked like.
I think
so. They did allude to the fact when they were young and during the dueling competition that Alicent had eyes for Sir Criston at that time,
right?
And so it sort of makes sense that now that they're older, that they have the opportunity that he's now in the King's Guard and sort of by her side, that that relationship would sort of blossom between those two, but
he was professing his love for Rhaenyra.
Like last season,
ready to give it up, go to Dragonstone.
Okay, clearly I need to rewatch last because.
Well, the sex scene though. He was given that sloppy jalopy.
Oh, in this
episode, yeah. But we were referencing last season.
No, I'm not gonna let that slide. Why did you call it that?
I was just trying to push past it, man.
I didn't want to be super vulgar and say it was coitus.
That's not even that sounds
better
worse.
Than what you said.
I think it actually sounds worse.
I think it sounds worse too.
But yes, that's the technical term for it. I didn't know you were into the Big Bang Theory, but
I'm not.
Oh.
That I can use the words that are not part of Big Bang Theory. Thanks. I know SAT words. That's not SAT.
He's trying to say I'm smart.
I mean, we're all pretty smart here, smart people.
Yeah.
But no, we were referencing.
You do a rough jack. I guess
know. We were referencing.
We were pushing past it, man.
We were.
Y'all never push past nothing that I say. So why should I give?
You don't say anything suggestive though.
Yeah, this is totally different. You'll say something outlandish about what we're actually talking about.
Continue.
Yeah.
Anyways, we were talking about Rhaenyra and Sir Criston's relationship last season when they were engaging in sexual intercourse. And
yeah.
Is that's no?
I don't know. Just accept it.
When they were having sex. When they were having sex with each other.
When they were doing the do. Sorry.
What is going on?
Why are we moving past this?
Okay. He said, what did you say? Sloppy?
Sexual? Well, yeah.
I said sloppy jalopy.
Such a shitty. That's what I'm going to call it from now on.
It's a great term.
I'll be like, hey, yo, hubby, you want some sloppy jalopy?
Oh, he'll be into that. Anyway.
But Here's the thing, like, see, now we're really getting off topic, but I would mostly associate that, like, with the other way. Not with how...
I mean, it can get sloppy.
Yes, it can. I would, like...
Oh, my God. Please. Can't do this.
I would say, like... a tsunami wami. That's or something like that.
I do not want. You know what? Let's just move on.
I'm definitely editing that out. Tsunami wami. I'm not gonna let you embarrass.
Anyways, we were talking about.
Okay.
We were talking about Rhaenyra and Sir Criston's relationship last season and how. You know, he was like, you know, we got to get married. We got to run away and be together. And looking forward, how do you see that sort of playing out? Do you think that, you know, somebody, because I mean, we're going to get to it later about like what actually happens, you know, when a particular person catches them. Yeah. But like, do you think there's going to be ramifications in the long run for, you know, those two getting together?
Yeah, I think Alicent is going to resent him for, I mean, there's no way that she can, but I feel like they might set it up to where she feels a contentment towards him for not being there, not being, you know, that was his job. His job is to protect the keep, you know, and he's out, you know, giving, you know, doing a do. So I think she'll have like invalidated like content for him.
And what
going forward?
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything to add to that to me?
I think, I don't know, is the short answer. I feel like he's pretty insignificant on the grand scheme of things. In terms of what he does and the actions, I think it goes. I don't think anybody really cares. But maybe again, I have to rewatch this previous series, so maybe it'll mean more to me. Once I rewatch it and understand and remember, but I just feel like there's so much going on already. Jumping back in, that I don't think. Thinks, and I don't. I think on the grand scheme of things, I don't think anybody really cares.
Are we talking about the same thing? We're talking about Alicent and Criston in this season. What, like their relationship?
I mean, what relationship? It seems sexual.
Yeah, we were talking about the ramifications.
I don't think. I don't really think there are. I don't think that's.
Well, I think in a sense that you have two people who shouldn't be having sex with each other, and if it comes out, or if she gets pregnant, you know, if Otto finds out, you know, how would he respond to that? You know, he's just a very prideful, family oriented type of person. Or how would her son sort of react, you know, in that situation, who we're going to get to, who I think is a wild card. And I have the question later on.
You think he doesn't know?
Aegon?
Yeah, I don't think. I think that kid is oblivious right now. I don't think. I don't think he knows anything of what was going on, and we'll talk about him going forward. But I think their relationship could have a very significant impact on the show, and the ramifications of people finding out could. You know, I think, you know.
How so? Like, what do you predict?
I think Sir Barris. I think Sir. I'm Barris. I know, like, back and forth, man. I think Sir Criston. I think his life could be in potential jeopardy if you know, because nothing's really going to happen to Alicent other than, you know, it's going to be a scandal and people are going to look, you know, down on her. But
people are going to question, like, where were you when this was happening? Why did you let this happen?
Exactly.
Like, that's all going to fall on
true.
Criston.
That's true. I didn't think about it from that perspective.
And
you're just thinking about it from like sex.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm just like, yeah, who cares? Nobody's thinking about him, but okay.
No, I think there's higher ramifications.
Yeah, exactly. Because you have a prince that essentially died on his watch.
Yeah,
that's true.
So, you know, and Alicent is not at fault during this either. So, like I said, I mean, I don't think anything would necessarily happen to her life.
Well, how
per se.
about they find out though that they like they were doing it while this was happening. I feel like that can come up and be like, I don't know if they're going to be able to hide that.
I guess the reason why I'm saying I don't know if the son doesn't know, not to say that it's blatant like it knows, but the way, and this is jumping, but the way the wife ran into the chamber. Now we all know she's a little off anyway, but the way she walked in and wasn't at all impacted by the fact that they were sitting there having sex. Now, granted, given who she is,
yeah, she's a green singer, so she probably already like knew, right?
But that's what I'm saying is like. I don't know that this is true or not. I guess what I'm trying to say is, how do we know at this point that it is a secret? Like, even if it's not overtly said.
Right. Well, I think that I'm going to call him Feet Guy because I forget his actual name. I forget his name in the damn show. But Feet Fetish Guy.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I think he knows.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's the master of risk.
Yeah, so I think
he's that role now.
But I think he'll probably use it as blackmail against her.
What's his name? That's bothering me.
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Yeah, please.
But yeah, no, I think that is going to play a huge factor, especially as in the incoming seasons. I mean, in the incoming episodes, as they probably investigate. You know, who's responsible or how did these two men get inside the castle? Like, I think another question is, who the hell is patrolling? Like who was watching?
Criston, that's what I'm saying. It's Kristen's job.
I know it's his job, but what I'm saying
is,
isn't there other people? I mean, I'm saying
the Kingsguard was in with Aegon shooting.
Okay,
shit.
but my question is, they were standing right there when the dudes walked past. If they wanted to freely kill Aegon, they could have attempted to do that. The fact that they could just walk in and the guards was just standing there like,
well, okay, they were one.
The Kingsguard was with Aegon.
The Kingsguard was with Aegon, but also too, they probably had no reason to suspect those two. One, because one was a rat catcher, and they talked about a rat problem earlier on in the episode,
which Helena alluded to.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that too, and also the guy that was with them was a Kingsguard himself. Like, he was a disgruntled, Kingsguard himself. Why would they question him?
Yeah.
Bringing up, rat catcher around. But I'm just saying,
he was like the mole
here. Yeah. Why did you? Why? I don't know. I feel like there should have been more questions asked in the first place. And aside from the main guy who's like, there was no protection on the second floor, period.
No, I agree. That's what I'm wondering. Like, why wasn't there any protection? I mean, that could just be a writing standpoint. Like, logistically, they're just trying to make this scene work. But
also, it's nightfall.
Yeah.
They've probably figured nothing is really going to happen.
Yeah. So.
Maybe they sent them all away so that they could do the sloppity jalopity or whatever.
Sloppy jalopy.
Whatever.
All right. So after Alicent and Sir Criston Cole have their relationship sort of blossoming here, their situationship. Alicent, after the deed is done, says, we could never do this again. Surprise, surprise. They end up doing it again.
Well, I didn't believe her then.
No, exactly. I didn't believe her.
The impression I got is that they go through this all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like every time.
That's how it was set up.
No, he's like looking at his face. He's like, this is another Tuesday.
Yeah, that's why he didn't make a case.
Yeah. Put on my cape. Like, I already know.
There was no guilt.
Yeah, exactly. I've been here, done this.
Yeah, exactly.
So after they get done doing the deed, we then jump to Aegon. We're going to talk about Aegon the second for a little bit here. And I'll talk about the scene where it's him and Otto, and they're listening to the common folk here. Yeah. And it's really an interesting scene because you have Aegon, who in this particular scene, and actually in this episode, sort of is reminding me of Viserys in a lot of ways. Because I'm thinking this kind of what Viserys would actually do in this circumstance. Right. We have one of the common folk ask, about getting his sheep back, and then he's like, sure, you definitely deserve your seat back. We'll here. And then Otto's like, hold on. Yeah, exactly. Hold on a second. We have dragons to feed. Yeah. And we don't want them to turn on us or turn on the people. We got to keep them, fed. Yeah. And then you have another guy that comes and is like, we need money up front to build these scorpions because they take forever to build. And he's like, yeah. And Otto starts to he
starts to do the same thing.
But it's like, I can't with this kid.
We need the common folk to be pleased.
Yeah. So we have that instance. And then we have the instance at the council meeting where he brings in his son, and he actually seems like he's enjoying being a father in that case.
Which, by the way, that kid started playing with that ball.
Yeah,
the tennis ball, and that thing must be cursed or something. Because that deer guy, the dear me guy, he died last season because he got bashed in the head with that thing.
Yeah, so
giving out
bad luck. But so we have that example, another example of Aegon, acting like Viserys, and then but we also still get a scene where he's a drunk and he's talking to, his friends there, towards the end of the episode. And we also have to remember that he also raped a woman last season as well. So it's very sort of, you see the good and you also see the evil that, he possesses in this episode. And also from what we witnessed last season. And I guess my question is to you and to Tamika, and then one of the things that sort of stuck out to me is that he reminds me of Viserys, but he also reminds me of Joffrey a little bit in terms of being like this young king, immature, who can sort of...
I mean, he has a better head on his shoulders.
He does.
I guess. Let me not even say that.
But I guess to you, Tamika, does he also sort of remind you of in the same character, similar mode, I guess, to Joffrey?
I couldn't put anybody in the same boat as Joffrey because Joffrey was just on 1,000.
Yeah,
and I feel like anybody has the potential to be getting on Joffrey's level if left unchecked. I don't think he would ever get that far because he would be checked.
I think I think that maybe I want to say that Alicent would have more control over her son than Cersei would over Joffrey, but you kind of have to question it now a little bit.
Alicent's in a compromised position now. I can see the vibes on Ali. Tamika didn't get that one.
No. Wait, what?
She's too busy snacking. That's why.
Yeah, she's over having a snack.
Don't.
I made a Kendrick joke.
I messed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that I think it's just going to be an interesting dynamic to see the type of person that he sort of turns into while he's, ruling over the Seven Kingdoms. And, if Alicent and if Otto can sort of rein him in, or is he just going to run wild, over them?
I think you make a good point. I think now that her integrity is compromised, I think it could very well turn into, I'm not, because it is interesting now that you say it, because she had this whole argument with her dad about how you got to back me up, or they're they're not going to hear me, and they're not going to see me as a voice of reason.
Right.
When under not her watch, but something so terrible occurred. And it's because, she was trying to get her rocks off and distracting the person from me. Oh, I can't make sexual innuendos?
Yes, that's why I'm laughing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You're not supposed to be funny now either?
I feel like you're laughing at me, not with me. But
no, I was laughing at your joke.
It's great.
Okay, well, anyway. But yeah, I do think that she shot herself in the foot trying to make her petition to her father.
Right.
And now your word really isn't going to mean anything. So to your point, it's like this could go in a direction of, well, I ain't listening to nobody. I'm going to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
But I can't even see
Aegon
kind of being that kind of kid though either.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying is I still don't see it being just based on the personality we've seen so far.
Right.
Jeffrey was an asshole from
day one.
Right.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Day negative. Like
right.
Day negative.
Right. He was
Since when he was in the room. But no, honestly, with that situation, if you remember, that was sort of ordained by the when she was a young kid and she went to go visit the witch in the forest and was like, your sons are gonna die. Basically, And so
true.
Yeah, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how that sort of plays out going forward. Like, is he gonna be like more like Viserys, or is he gonna be like more like Joffrey a little bit? So after that, we want to talk about we want to get to Rhaenyra, who is a grieving mother. From what I understand and from what I read, this episode sort of takes place. I want
10 days.
Yeah, 10 days after the end of episode 10 in the first season.
Yeah.
So she's a grieving mother here. She's looking for sort of confirmation that her son is in fact dead, and she does sort of get confirmation of that when she finds the remains of the dragon and his parts left behind. I don't know if they ever
found a body. I mean, Tamika might have had a point where I don't think the body was actually there. I think it was just a dragon, but that was enough for her to know. Because you're not going to survive falling off.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Dragon. What's his name? The dragon? I can't forget.
I think it's Eric's.
Eric's. I think, yeah.
So she finds she finds the remains of the dragon, confirming that her son has indeed passed away.
Goner.
Yes. She then comes back to her council, and her only lines. And it's not even lines, it's literally a line, not a few words really, and says, I want Aemond, not to be confused with Aegon. Aemond, who is Aegon's brother.
The one-eyed guy.
Yeah, the one-eyed guy, basically. And I think for the rest of the episode, I think Emma Darcy plays, even though she has one line in this entire episode, I think she plays an excellent,
her facial expressions.
Yeah, her facial expressions, her
demeanor,
performance, her demeanor, how she carries herself. I think about that scene when it's between her and Jace comes back from Winterfell and he's trying to explain to Rhaenyra that, I've got you.
We have
the Starks, and he can't even get through it, and she doesn't say anything. They just break down and they just start crying and they embrace. This is one of my
pretty powerful scene.
Yeah, very powerful scene. I also thought the scene, the funeral scene, was also very, very powerful. I think just the visual storytelling that that they told from Rhaenyra's perspective was really well done in this episode.
Yeah, I think until you just said it just now, I didn't even realize she only had one line. To me
neither.
She was telling a story the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. But it was just well done visually, and it was told in such a way. And like I said, I think that
she'll probably get nominated just for this. I
think she did. And I'm sorry, I don't want to keep saying she because she.
Oh, is she?
Is they?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I apologize for that.
Oh, apologies, Emily.
Emma.
Apologize.
we effed up that whole thing, but
that's not a first time for us.
Yeah.
Well, the character is a she. So
the character is a she,
true.
but I was talking about Emma's
actor
performance. So I apologize.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else you want to add to her? From her character.
Did she have an interaction with Daemon? No, right? She didn't. Besides in the council, yeah. But she, they just looked at each other and what did Daemon ask? Daemon asked her something.
He asked,
"Are you okay?" Or
yeah.
Did you get what you needed? Or something like that.
Yeah. That's right.
And she just like, let me get to my fucking head of the table.
Exactly.
Let me say what I need to say.
Exactly. And so there's those little scenes in between that we didn't really touch on, but that help tell the complete story of this episode. But I just wanted to hit like major story beats this episode. So that sort of sets off the chain of events where Daemon now goes and hires two assailants. Assailants. Two guys to kill to kill Aemon.
Yes.
And the last 10 minutes of this episode to me were like
pretty
really
freaking dark, huh?
I did say that to myself. I was like, yeah, this is pretty dark. But also I was like, this is pretty riveting and intense and suspenseful. And they did a really good job at building that tension those last 10 minutes. And I kept saying to myself, I thought one of those two were going to end up dying or that they would turn on each other. But the longer it grew, I kept saying, these two are idiots. And then, and they're going to not be able to find Aemon, and they're going to, they're going to kill somebody else that isn't him.
Well, that's the thing. That's skipping ahead, not even skipping ahead, but Daemon, I noticed that they cut to black as soon as he kind of gave the order. He looked like he was about to say another option.
Yeah.
And when they get to the room, they was like, well, a son for a son, right? They almost implied that Daemon said that.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, because obviously they're not going to allude to like Daemon like actually doing anything. I think they might leave it a mystery as to, did he give an order to just like any son?
Oh,
like,
interesting. Yeah, because the whole time I was sitting there like, does he look like he has one eye?
Exactly. Like, it's very obvious. I mean,
that's also true. And before he did mention the size of Aemon. Yeah. And how skillful he is.
Yeah, so they knew that.
So they did know that it wasn't him.
Right. So I thought they were just effing up, but I feel like as I didn't notice, I don't think I caught the fact that Daemon looked like he was about to say something else.
Yeah.
So to me, I was mad the whole time. Like, y'all are not folling directions.
Y'all just doing your own thing.
Yeah.
Right. But maybe not.
But so two things. One, they didn't actually name the characters, but I can't remember.
I think the rat cheese and cheese. I think they're calling the other guy Blood or something. Yeah, like something. That.
But I guess the guy that plays Blood, I mean, his voice was very distinguished. I mean, I liked his voice. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was.
Is that the one with the deep voice?
Yeah.
At one point, I was just like, I don't even understand what he's saying at this point. All I hear is deep.
I guess because I watched everything with subtitles. I sort of was following along, but
is that a super millennial thing?
Is it?
Things with subtitles?
I watch
everything with subtitles.
No, because really? Nah, I know a lot of millennials that don't watch things with subtitles on, but I realized, like, for me,
you just catch more.
Yeah, because now I know exactly what a character is saying. I don't have to guess anymore. Like I know,
unless they F it up.
I don't like subtitles unless it's like something like, obviously that's not in English or a language that I understand. So, but I don't like subtitles because I feel like it distracts me from seeing what I want to see in its entirety. Like when I'm watching a scene, I want to be able to catch any foreshadowing, any way that they might use the lighting or anything like that. I feel like if I'm distracted by reading, that I'm now
missing. You don't quite catch everything that they probably want you to catch.
Yeah.
I get that.
So that was my first thing, but also two, because so much happened within those last like 10 to 5 minutes of the episode. You alluded to the fact that it sort of left a mystery, but I guess the question is, do you think that Daemon actually told them, hey,
I mean, is it out of character for Daemon?
I'm asking the question.
I don't think it's out of character for Daemon to do.
I don't think so either. I now that you say it, I didn't think about it before, but that makes a lot more sense because it's not even like at any point they said, well, you know what, we can't find him, so we're just gonna take this kid instead. Like at no point was there even really an effort. They were just like, okay, well,
I mean, they did make it to Aemon's room first. So there was, I guess, a little bit of effort, but they wasn't there.
But it was but it wasn't even like I feel like, to your point, I feel like just based on the previous writing, I feel like they would have specifically said, well, we're just going to take this kid because that's what we got. but I feel like I don't know. It does beg the question, did we miss something? Because he did distinctly describe who they were looking for, and they went with something entirely different. And no remorse either. It's just child. Okay, well,
that is very true. It was actually, for them not actually showing, the violence. It sounded.
The sound
was very. Yeah, it was crazy.
I think that was worse.
Honestly, it's what you don't see.
It's
right?
probably worse. And they took his head. They wanted.
Yeah,
heard all the
that was clear.
Yeah.
that was very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Right.
Yeah, I know. It was.
Well, I have a question. I don't know if we're skipping ahead or not, but Helena. Obviously, they believed her, and I do too. I think they definitely did. But in that moment, did you feel like she was lying to them about who the twin might be, if it was actually the boy? In that moment, because I wasn't sure until he said, "Oh, she wouldn't lie."
Yeah.
He knows his faces, I guess.
Yeah. And they did tell him to check.
Yeah.
But that's a very good question. Because we don't really know. We know Helena, but we don't know enough about her to sort of make a fair enough assessment of what, her motive is in that scene yet, or at least not in my mind anyways.
Well, earlier she did say to Aegon, excuse me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he doesn't want to be an heir to the throne. And she is a green seer. She alluded to rats.
Are we sure that she's actually a green seer, or she's just having dreams, or she's having
Well, let's set up this perspective, dreams, of the greens. Like, do they really even care that she is? To be honest, I think she totally is. But
no one actually listens to her. That's
what I'm saying. Like, no one actually takes her seriously.
It's funny in the sense that a lot of stuff. But I think that she doesn't actually know what she's seeing. I think she's just because she actually did reference earlier in the episode that she's afraid of rats to Aegon.
Right.
And then what ended up happening, a rat catcher, Cheese, came in and killed. Well,
I'm not.
But I think that's the thing is Helena. She's always dropping these gems, and they're always missing it because they just feel like, oh, so
do you think they're going to eventually catch on?
No.
You think it's going to completely?
I don't think they care. I just don't think they care at all. They don't care about
I think it's one of those things where they think they're controlling things, and they're so focused on them trying to control the circumstances and play chess that they're missing the obvious pool of information. Like and it's not like she's trying. And I think that's just her eccentric side. Like, she's giving them the information. She's dropping the hints. She's like, hey, there's a problem. And nobody sees the potential in this girl. Everybody's just like, oh, she's a little.
But she knew it was coming.
She knew something was coming. I don't know that she knew
I don't think she knew that was. That's what I'm saying. I don't think she understands what she's seeing in her dreams.
Right. Okay.
Because I think if she saw it coming, then
Well, what was the purpose of her deliberately being like, okay, that's the boy. Yep.
That's what we're trying to figure out. We have. I don't know what her motive is in terms of picking the boy. Like, I don't know if she thought that she was trying to deceive them, or as you alluded to, the fact that she mentioned that he didn't want to be heir, or what? Because they're the same age, right? If I'm not mistaken, the Jaehaerys and Jaehaera.
Well, if you think about it, like Viserys did want the throne to go to Rhaenyra, right? Female reign. The High Towers are very much against that. They want it to be male lineage throughout. So maybe even subconsciously, she's like, I think I want to continue the female reign here, because obviously Aemon is the heir to the throne now, kind of. But I don't know.
She was clearly conflicted in that moment.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
So weighing the options in her mind very quickly. At first, my initial thought was like, well, she's going to point to the girl. She's not going to make it obvious who the boy is. So I thought what the big guy was thinking. It's like, nah, it's the other one. I don't know what made the other guy look at her and be like, nah, she's telling the truth.
All right.
I don't know. But she was so removed from it. So let's say she did pick the boy. By the time she goes to go see Alicent, she's like, they killed the boy. Like, there's no
Maybe
connection.
she thinks she's still dreaming.
Maybe, because there's no connection. She's like, they didn't, it's not, no screaming, no crying, no, oh, they killed my son.
They got the boy.
They got the boy.
Deadpan.
Yeah.
That was it.
But
so
I mean,
like,
that is who she
Yeah,
is.
that's who she is. That's her personality, I guess.
Yeah. But
right, but it does make you wonder. It's like, well, did she have an issue? And if I remember correctly, I feel like she always did like connect kind of to Danny's point, because it's like, would she have does she have a vendetta to be like, yeah, okay, well, if I got to pick one, I'm gonna keep the girl.
Right.
Yeah, because maybe, as we alluded to before, maybe she doesn't. I mean, but who actually would enjoy being married to their actual brother? And she's like, what's gonna hurt him the most? I don't know. In that incident, and it's like the son is probably gonna hurt him.
She seemed pretty accepting of it.
I mean,
I guess not really. I can't remember. She has no feelings.
Yeah.
no feeling, and she doesn't have much of a choice either.
That's
like,
true. No,
it's not like anybody's going to
more,
ask
that's
her.
More
like,
that's definitely more it though. For sure.
So it'll be interesting to see how the next episode pans out.
You made a great point that she was definitely removed from herself, even at that.
Yeah.
Whole thing. And I don't know if that's because of trauma or just because she already saw,
Yeah, and so that sort of leads back in going back to Alicent and Sir Criston's situation, because now, we get the scene where
they're doing it.
No, her name's now just escaping. We were just talking
Helena.
about Helena.
Yeah.
Now we get Helena and the baby, walking into them and stumbling upon them doing it, and she has, she's not shy. I mean, obviously she just lost her son, but she doesn't even, address the fact that they're having sex.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the last thing.
Yeah, it's probably the last thing in her. But my thing is, as we were talking about earlier, is, moving forward, how this all sort of plays out, because it's like, again, they're gonna question who's responsible for it, because everyone had a role in what took place, in Jaehaerys's death. You have the two, you have cheese and blood.
I guess that's what we're doing.
Right. I think that's the name.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm not sure, but we have the two guys that were sent to kill.
Cheese and blood.
That were sent to kill Aemon. Then we have why do I always forget her name?
The daughter.
Yeah.
Helena.
Yes.
Jeez.
I'm sorry, man. There's so many characters.
There's names.
I can't. I don't know what it is. So yeah. Then we have Helena actually deciding to essentially to kill her son.
Yeah.
And picking the daughter over. So you have to think about that. So if somebody finds out that you picked the son, but also, is she going to lie?
Yeah.
If confronted about it, so you have to consider that there. And then you have Helena, I got it right, walking in on Sir Criston and Alicent having sex. And then people are going to question, that they're going to dig deeper into questioning them, like, hey, the first question they're going to ask is, hey, Sir Criston,
where the hell were you?
Where were you?
Where were you,
so...
I mean, they were drunk, and really there's going to be blame on themselves, because they were all in the throne room when these guys walked in, all drinking and talking.
Yeah, for sure.
So really,
but Criston is the one that's stationed on the second floor. I think.
Correct. But even you had the
second floor,
the maid too, which I think it seems like I just feel like when it comes to these things, there are no small details.
Oh, you're talking about the maid that saw blood and she didn't say anything? Yeah. Yeah.
And she didn't say anything, but clearly she was suspicious and then disappeared.
Yeah.
And going back to what we were talking to previously, is at that point, because when she disappeared, it looked like he was chasing after her, like, oh, she might say something, I need to kill her. But then she was gone without a trace. So maybe at that point too, it was like, okay, she might be going to tell somebody that we don't belong here. We just got to take what we can get at this point, a son for a son.
Right.
Which I just thought about just now. So I don't know, because that's also going to be another question if it comes out. It's like, well, you saw what was happening. Where were you? Why didn't you scream? Why didn't you say something?
I'm so curious of where the next episode is going to pick up at. Like,
yeah,
because I'm also curious about how they got out of the castle.
That's true.
That's true.
You know, so
yeah, they didn't even show that, right?
Yeah, no,
they didn't.
They start they you know,
so maybe they do get caught. I mean,
take it from Helena's point.
And
so,
even Helena didn't look like she knew where she was going. Like, she grabbed the kid and she didn't know. She didn't know where. Like, we're following her. We're just as lost as she is. And like, okay, where are we going?
yeah. So
it's like she didn't know what to do, where to go.
all right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty much the main story of this particular episode, first episode of season 2, Son for a Son. And lo and behold, it was essentially a son for a son. It wasn't the son that they
thought
that
or
they
even
wanted,
like hoping.
but yeah, exactly. They, like, and all in the grand scheme of things. I mean, let's be real. I mean, Jaehaerys is kind of. It's a non-factor. I mean, like, it's, you know, I mean, it's cruel and it's sad.
But to be honest with you, I thought Aegon was gonna be a non-factor until he ended up being.
Oh yeah, well,
Aegon the second.
But yeah. So, you know, out of all the things that we talked about in terms of those last 10 minutes, the actual Jaehaerys, you know, an heir or a prince, him dying is probably like 5 or 6 thing on a list of like importance to the actual story. Because I don't think, you know, him.
Yeah, it's the ramifications.
Yes, it's more the ramifications of what's like going to happen.
I honestly, they don't care about the kid at all.
Yeah. Well, yes, I want to say
they care, but like not really.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I think Aegon cares.
No.
Oh,
That's,
of course,
yeah, Aegon. Yeah, Aegon is going to care, and I think, you know, I think that's why I think we're going to see more Joffrey Aegon than Viserys Aegon moving forward, because I think he's going to be, you know, obviously angry, and I think it's going to be an interesting juxtaposition of, you have Rhaenyra, who is a grieving mother who lost her son.
Yeah.
And you have, you know, Aegon, who's going to be essentially a grieving father who lost his son. Mm-hmm. And as we saw in this episode, that Aegon appeared that, like, you know, I mentioned earlier, appeared that he was actually enjoying like being a father.
Yeah.
You know, when he brought his son into the council meetings, you know, he looked like he was happy to have him and happy to show him like the ropes of what it takes to be a king. Yeah. And to have that sort of taken away from him, I think, you know, we're going to see the ramifications of that. There's going to be ramifications galore through this whole thing. We know that war is going to be inevitable. I think there's going to be a tremendous amount of bloodshed this season. I think this is just sort of warming us up to that
this
idea.
Like the catalyst.
Yeah, to those events that are going to take place. I think a lot of people are going to die on both sides this season. I mean, I probably wouldn't, you know, get too attached to anybody. And I think we're in for a hell of 7 more episodes, sadly, before this goes away, and then we have to wait another 2 years for season 3 to come out.
Now that I'm thinking about it, like, I can definitely see Aegon becoming like a Joffrey type of tyrannical type king, just based off how much he did like being a father. I didn't think about that.
And
before.
if he does, I still wouldn't put him on Joffrey's level, because Joffrey is a sadist.
Touch that. Yeah, nobody can touch
Yeah, but we're just using that like on the scale of Joffrey to Viserys.
Right.
He's definitely more leaning towards the Joffrey scale than Viserys side, in my opinion.
Yeah. Sure.
I guess we'll see. We'll see where his grief takes him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was also listening to the Double Toasted podcast of their review of episode 1, and they brought up something interesting, and the fact that it's been 2 years since we've gotten a new season, and he mentioned like how much stuff we have consumed in those 2 years, and it was just sort of like, it was an interesting point of like streaming now, because before shows would take this long to come out, and now because streaming is available, there's this sort of cycle of shows that we get more readily now. We don't have to wait as long in between seasons, which I thought was interesting, because now I was thinking about it. It's like, you're absolutely right, because we had to wait 2 years for this show to come back. I think, how long do we have to wait for The Boys was actually finished. The Boys was actually supposed to come out before, because it was finished, and then they had that writers thing, and so we were supposed to have got that, but now you see most shows wait a year in between. They're sort of like on a cycle, but I guess because of how massive House of the Dragon is, it does take them 2 years. I mean, I wish that it was kind of like more of a yearly type thing, but even Game of Thrones, didn't it come out like when it was like sort of in its heyday, coming out every year until the end?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I mean, but still, this still has a higher production.
Yeah, it does. It does. These are like more like movies than anything. But it's just like, but as we were talking about earlier, it just makes it a little bit harder to sort of follow, because you kind of forget a lot of stuff. But like jumping back into it was great, and I still think this is probably like the best show on
streaming currently. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
I haven't started The Boys yet, but
I heard even this season is not as good as.
There's only been one episode, right?
No, there's
they all
as far as I'm pretty sure they're all.
I didn't know that.
I could be wrong. I need to look at it. I haven't started watching
because Prime usually.
I know they typically release week to week, but I know at least the first 3 episodes are out. Let's put it that way.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
At least this season so far hasn't been as well received from fans.
Well, what I'm hearing is like it's all the Trump boys that are getting affected by what's been always the boys.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why are they surprised? Like,
I heard more from them than anything. But
anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. I don't know if there's anything else you guys wanted to mention that happened in this episode that we didn't talk about. Like, we didn't mention of the Valerians or.
Oh my gosh,
that kind of was a throwaway scene. I didn't really.
Did you get the feeling like that might have been his like bastard son, Corlys?
It could, yeah, possibly.
Because it had the same Jon Snow.
Yeah, it did. It did a little bit, yeah.
Type. Tamika, do you know the scene we're talking about?
The what?
With Corlys
Valerian, when he was like, they were near the dock, and he was like, "Oh, you saved my life. I'm indebted to you." And he was like,
"Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. You're right. It was
but I was saying like it's literally like 5 seconds, and then it's sort of on. To the next scene,
obviously, but like I said, I feel like with these shows, there's no small details.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You know that they're going to continue to build on it, but in terms of this episode, they're setting that up. Whereas the other stuff that happened, there's like immediate stuff that's like happening. So yeah, we didn't talk about that, and there was also what's her name? The worm, the white worm. Yes. She's alive.
Malaria.
Yeah.
What's her name?
I don't think it's malaria. I know.
Malaria.
I know it starts with an M. It does start with an M. Yeah.
I can't remember her name. Yeah. What's to say? She came back.
She did. I didn't really like her character in the first season.
Me neither. That's what I'm like.
But I'm hoping this season that they utilize her. And I think so far in the 2 scenes that she was in, I think it's been better, at least narratively. Narratively in these 2 scenes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But that's going to do it for our first episode review.
Overall thoughts?
Yeah, overall thoughts. Our score.
Overall score, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Are we doing 10?
Yeah.
Is that too high?
It's your score.
I actually think that's too low.
Oh, really? Yeah. It is my score.
Let me.
Well, I give it a 7. Again, I have to go back. It really does feel like it never stopped. Like, even though it's been 2 years, I feel like we're literally just jumping right in.
Because there's so much lore.
like just so much. It's so much, and I have to go back and rewatch, and I feel like I need to revisit the previous season and come back and re-rate it. But for now, I give it a 7 because I'm treating it as if it's something brand new that I'm just starting and jumping into.
Okay.
Whatever. You don't have to agree with me.
I mean, I think I do think it's because it's been such a long time.
Yeah.
Not everything was like called. You have to remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'd give it like a 9. You alluded to it, those last 9-10 minutes, where the tension was at an all-time high, and I love that the tension was all-time high, but you saw nothing really violent. You heard it, but it was really riveting, and just the fact that it came to that crescendo, and it was a silent moment. It wasn't like chaos, balls to the wall type of thing. It was just you were glued to the seat. But you were in horror still, and that's the best kind of horror.
Yeah, and I think I don't know the new producer because the old producer left the show, or the showrunner.
Okay.
After the episode was talking about the last 10 minutes of the show, you're following two characters who you've never been introduced to,
right.
And yet you're invested in those last 10 minutes because it's so well written and so well executed, and that goes to the direction of.
Did Miguel's what's the name? Direct this?
No, Alan.
Alan. Yeah,
I think it's Alan Ball.
Yes.
He's definitely directed other Game of Thrones, and he's also directed a lot. I think he he's directed Rome, so he's very familiar with sort of medieval type of storytelling. He did a great job with this. For me, I'm gonna give it a 6.9.
I hate you.
I'm sorry.
6.9?
She doesn't get the joke. But
I don't get the joke. Is this like a sexual?
It is.
Is this sexual?
Yeah, man. I'm sorry. Y'all were making jokes. I had to.
Yeah, he had to put his little 2 cents in there. Or 1 cent off. Anyway.
No,
Shut up.
No, I'm going to go 8.5. That's my score.
That's
for
fair.
it.
You can do an 8.5. Either has to be an 8 or 9.
I'm okay with half decimals. I'm okay with the half.
No. Okay,
why?
fine.
Why does it have to be a whole number?
Because I just feel like when you're doing a scale of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, what's the point of doing a middle number?
Because it's a half. It's like not
a half.
It's not good enough to be a full 9, but not bad enough to be a full 8. It's like it's in between.
Well, what was the cons of the episode for you?
It's not that there were necessarily
not huge cons.
For it, but I just think about when I compare it to other episodes from last season or from really 2 years ago, and remembering how I felt watching. And part of it is more of the part of it, and I will admit this is the fact that we hadn't had. The way that Game of Thrones had ended, and the fact that we were getting a brand new show and it was actually really good. Like I rated the last season extremely high.
No, you rated on my curve.
yeah, exactly. So I think with this season, I'm trying to be more.
Well, I'm doing that. My philosophy is the opposite philosophy, but my thinking is the opposite because I went into the first season super critical, and I would have probably rated this like. Maybe a 7, maybe a 6.5. So now my expectations are higher, which is probably a fucking bad thing.
Don't get disappointed.
I know, man. But my expectations are higher, so I expect pretty much greatness. So
yeah, no, and
okay.
I
I thought the first episode was great.
Yeah, I think so too, and I also think that, I don't think we're setting ourselves up and saying this because they haven't given us. Well, we said the same thing about Game of Thrones, but so far, and I think they've learned from their mistakes. I think they heard everything that we had to say about the way that Game of Thrones ended, and I think they're gonna be very meticulous in how they execute this season and the season moving forward. But I also think that for me, I expect these episodes to get better and better and better. And so I don't want to just hand out 9s or 10s regularly. I'm expecting that there's going to be a 9 or 10 that I'm going to give to one of these next episodes that are just going to blow me away. I could be completely wrong. I doubt it. I would probably put money on not being disappointed, but you know.
Yeah. All right. So overall, it's like a B+.
Well, if you're going by today's scale and how today's kids are being graded, that's actually an A. That's like a low A. So
I'm a millennial, and I'm basing it off of how I.
Yeah, that would be a B+. Your score brought it down to a B+. Yeah.
Back when I was in school, an 80 was a C+. So
that's insane.
Yes,
that's insane.
An 80 was a C+.
Yeah,
that should be a B-.
I thought it was I thought it was like a
nah. No, they graded off the 79 to I don't know, 69.
Well,
see?
You guys are making sexual innuendos
that you don't understand.
I know what 69 means.
You didn't catch
you didn't catch the other one, no.
I didn't know that's what you were making a sexual innuendo at the time.
6.9 is a ridiculous score.
I mean, come on.
I thought he was making a play off of my 7 score.
Yeah, I guess that's plausible. But anyways, that's gonna do it for.
Not everything is about sex.
I agree.
I agree too. You definitely have to have a relationship that's built on more than sex. I hope, I
mean, but if the slop jalopy is good.
It could keep you around longer. Is that what you're saying? I like how you're. I'm not even gonna say it. Not even gonna say it. Anyways, that's gonna do it.
All right, man.
That's good.
End episode.
That's gonna do it for today's episode. We'll see you next week when we will review episode 2 of season 2.
Later.
Calico.